Thank you. Lector Vrije Universiteit Brussels, Professor Jan Dankalt. Lector Universiteit Libre de Brussels, Professor Anemi Schaus. I'm sorry if the pronunciations are not good. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with profound gratitude and humility that I accept the honorary title for freedom of expression of Difference Day this year. I thank the organizers for this recognition. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to those who have supported me, shown kindness, and stood in solidarity with me and the cause I document and advocate for. For some reasons, privacy and also safety, I am unable to acknowledge each of them individually, but their impact and courage remains deeply valued and remembered in my life. Some of them present here, others not. I'm very grateful. I thank my wife that have endured significant hardships due to my unwavering commitment to my journalistic principles and activisms. And also, I thank everyone in this room for believing that speech, truth, and dissent are not luxuries, but the very foundation of a free and just society. But I must confess that standing here also feels deeply contradictory. I receive this honorary title for speaking freely while my country, Rwanda, remains under the control of a regime that systematically silences, imprisons, exiles, and eliminates those who dare to do the same. This contradiction is not personal, it is political, it is systematic, and it must be named. Rwanda, under Kagame's rule, is often praised internationally as a miracle, a post-genocide success story. The gleaming streets of Kigali, the technological initiatives, the economic growth statistics, these are the images that dominate the international discourse. But behind the polished image lies much a darker reality, one where fear is not just present, but it is an official policy, where surveillance is normalized, and where silence have become a survival strategy in my people. Consider the case of musician Kizito Mihigo, who composed songs calling for reconciliation outside the official narrative. He died suspiciously in police custody. Consider the case of Paul Rusesabagina, who spoke out and was effectively kidnapped in Dubai and sentenced to 25 in prison through a deeply flawed trial. Consider the case of a journalist, poet, Innocent Bahati, who disappeared since February 2021 to date. Or the case of opposition leader Boniface Twagirimana, who vanished from his prison cell in 2018. Think of political figures like Diane Rwigara, who faced harassment, imprisonment, and a dubious trial after attempting to run for presidency. Remember journalist John Williams Noir, who suspiciously died in January following a critical reporting on Kagame's regime. These are not isolated incidents. They represent a systematic elimination of dissenting voices. The message is clear. No voice, regardless of its prominence, is safe from silencing. In Rwanda today, Speaking your mind can cost you your job, your freedom, or even your life. Opposition figures face arbitrary detention, fabricated charges, and torture. Journalists work under constant threats for prosecution under vague genocide ideology laws. Human rights defenders are branded traitors through campaigns organized by the regime. Even in exiles, Rwanda live with the knowledge that the regime reach extends far beyond our borders, as evidenced by numerous documented cases of transnational repression, surveillance, and even assassination attempts of critics living abroad. This is not stability, it is repression with exceptional marketing. The consequences extend beyond our border as Rwanda. Enabling Democratic Republic of Congo, over 6 million lives, of course it's an estimation, have been lost in conflicts where Kagame regime has played a documented role. The latest resurgence of M23 rebel, responsible for atrocities, war crimes, and displacements of millions, have been repeatedly linked direct support from Kigali by UN experts and also human rights organizations. Villages are burned, children recruited into military ranks, women brutalized and raped. This suffering continues while the international community attention remains elsewhere. And yet, Kagame's regime is welcomed in an international forums as a model. Its leader, Paul Kagame, who has effectively ruled for nearly 3 decades, is described as a visionary leader, efficient and a modernizer. But how effective is a government that silences its critics? How modern is a regime that eliminates term limits to maintain its power? How visionary are leaders that sacrifices future generation freedoms to present-day control? This brings me to the harder truth. The international community has not merely overlooked these abuses, it has enabled them. Western governments pour billions into Kagame's regime without human rights conditions. Technology companies like NSO partner with surveillance systems that track dissidents. International organizations showcase Rwanda's economic statistics while ignoring political prisoners. Development experts praises Rwanda's clean streets while turning a blind eye on the blood beneath it. It's easy to admire Rwanda's order when you are not the one paying the cost. That silence from institutions, media, from policymakers, it is not neutral. It is complicity, dressed as diplomacy. It is abandonment disguised as engagement. Let me be clear. Rwanda deserves peace. It deserves dignity. It deserves leaders who do not fear voices of their own people. And deserves international community that uphold human rights everywhere, not when it is convenient. What can be done? I call for specific actions. Let me use this opportunity. To the international donors funding Kagame's regime, implement genuine human rights conditionality in your aid programs. To the media organizations, challenge the polished narrative. Investigate disappearance of Rwandans. Report on political prisoners and other human rights abuses. Give voice to those who cannot speak for themselves. To academic institutions like VUB and ULB, partner with exiled Rwandan scholars, document abuses. preserve testimonies, create safe space for dialogue that cannot happen in Rwanda. To policymakers, scrutinize arms sales to Rwandan regime. They are abusing them. Apply targeted sanctions against officials responsible for abuses. Support regional peace initiatives that address the root cause rather than the symptoms of the problems we have in our region. To everyone in this room, when you hear Rwanda's success story, ask success for whom? When you read about Rwanda's progress, question at what cost? When you meet Rwandan's official, inquire about the fate of political prisoners. There is a number of them, many of them. Freedom of expression is not a Western ideal. It is not a gift to be granted by power. It is our right. It is a lifeline for we. It is the difference between dictatorship and democracy. It is the difference between fear and dignity. I accept this honor today not as a reward, but as a responsibility to continue speaking even when it is inconvenient. When I remember a lot of things according, as the PEN chair talked about my history just a couple of years ago, sometimes I feel like we don't need to give up. We don't need to give up about this. We need to speak even when it is not or it is inconvenient for us. I ask you, academics in this room, journalists, students, citizens, use your voices. Use your platforms. Use your freedom you have here, because someone else cannot have it and doesn't have it. Speak the truth about Kagame's regime. Challenge the regime's careful, cultivated narrative. Support those who are silenced. Question your government. Question your government. Please question your government to stop partnering with oppressors and dictators, mainly in Africa. And never confuse silence with peace or stability with justice. To quote Elie Wiesel, we must take a side. Neutrality helps oppressors, never the victims. Silence encourages the tormentors, not the tormented. Today, I ask you to take sides. I ask everyone in this room to take sides. The side of truth, the side of human dignity, the side of those who risk everything to speak out. For them, for Rwandan future, and for the integrity of this very award we celebrate today. With gratitude, I thank you for this honorary title.